Hello and welcome to Hey, I Loved That Movie, the podcast where we rewatch the films we loved when we were younger to see if they still hold up. I'm Dan,
I'm Michael.
And I'm Helena.
and for this episode we watched A Bug's Life. You got a bug in me.
Bug.
You've got a bug.
You got a bug in me. It's a
Gotta
tape.
take all of their food, because we are nasty grasshoppers.
First Pixar film on the podcast, but I think it's because this is the one that kind of
Fucking
everyone knows Toy Story is still good.
second
Right,
Pixar movie ever.
Yeah, second Pixar film ever. I watched this. I think I watched this more than Toy Story, to be honest. I had it on VHS,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure the VHS I had Heimlich on the front. And it
Ah.
was great
Oh.
because you could get like 5 collectible covers.
Really?
Yeah. And I had the one with Heimlich on because he was my favourite.
Aw, that's cute. And yeah, he's everyone's favourite, I think.
Yeah, he's a favorite.
Exactly, yeah. I don't. The only toy I remember having from this though was one of Hopper. I don't
Oh,
know
scary.
why. Yeah.
No, I remember having the Hopper toy as well.
Yeah, I think his legs moved or something. I can't
Yeah,
remember
with
exactly.
the arms. I think the wings moved.
Yeah, I
I think that
remember
was
playing it with it in a garden.
Yeah.
That's about the extent of my memories.
Vaguely.
I
We've all seen
told
this
my,
film.
my story, my sad story about A Bug's Life.
You said
Yeah.
about the ugly bug ball.
Yeah, my ugly
but
bug ball
Big
that
Nice
no
Day,
one
Yeah.
dressed as a bug to. I think that was because of Bug's Life. Because I think it was my third-ish birthday. And I think that was a recent popular film and got me into bugs. But I didn't. So I obviously liked this as a very young child. I don't remember watching it until a long time after because I remember watching Ants way more.
Ants.
And then
Yeah.
people being like,
Ants.
you haven't seen A Bug's Life, and me being like, yeah, I've seen A Bug's Life. But then actually when it came to like knowing anything about it, I was like, I haven't seen A Bug's Life. Like, I
You'd
don't think
seen
it.
Ants.
When I saw it when I was 3, sure, but I don't remember anything about it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we had it on video and it broke or we lost it. We did have a particularly hungry tape player, so
Oh.
we did lose.
It was a grasshopper.
We lost a lot of videotapes over the years.
Yeah.
Not including Black Cauldron. That was resilient.
That one just went behind the piano.
Yeah, that one. Why did your parents look at? Oh, the machine ate it. They had an out.
Maybe the machine
They
didn't eat any of them.
had an out. That's a good
I
point.
remember
that
that we-
piano.
There's so many VHSs behind the piano.
That piano chock full of VHSs.
I don't
It's not
remember.
more than-
Well, I remember it eating them because obviously I was old enough to operate one, and
Yeah.
I'd go and take the tape out, and it would just, it would come out, but the tape would stay in,
Oh,
and you'd be like,
Yeah, just
"Ooh,"
unravel.
and then you'd be like, "Can I unravel this?" But the tape player would be like, "No," and eat it like spaghetti.
yeah.
Um,
Ow.
so we lost a lot of tapes like that, and then I think we finally got a new tape player when I was a little bit older, and that's I think when I got really into the Black Cauldron.
Well,
So that
parents were sat around going, "God damn it!"
yeah, so my parents, I was like, and I know that tape player doesn't eat tapes, so I think it ate a really expensive video, and that was like when my parents were like, "Fine, we're getting a new one."
What's an expensive video?
I think it was
Wedding.
Yeah.
I think it was one of my mum's West Wing videos.
Right.
You know the TV show The West Wing.
Yeah, yeah.
Not West Wing like I always get it confused with Green Wing, but yeah, the political drama.
The serious show, not.
And like that was like one of a set of videos that cost like over £100 because it was like the
Ah.
complete series up to that point or something, or like videos used to be expensive.
No, they did, but I'd never be like, "That's an expensive video." In the same way that I'd never be like, "That's an expensive DVD."
But like, yeah, if you pay, you paid like, 40, 50 quid or something for like series 1 to 2, or like 1
Yeah.
to 3 or something, and then one of those tapes gets damaged.
Yeah, it's gone. Yeah.
Like,
I
you
mean,
don't get it, you can't buy the one, like, episodes 18 and 18 to 20.
yeah.
Exactly. Normally they've got like if they're all together, they've got a cool picture that,
You can
that it
see,
makes up,
yeah.
and then you're just missing a chunk of it, and someone's got half a face.
Were your families like box set people?
Just The West
Like,
Wing
were they-
and Lord of the Rings.
You know, okay, you weren't like, but because there are like box set people that buy the box used to. You don't really get it anymore, but people would buy like the full box set to every fucking TV show they watched.
No, now you can just stream it.
I mean,
Slowly it's been taking up less and less space. I can't imagine having a box set of like a really long TV series, like 24 or
Lost. So many people
or
have
like
the
Lost.
box set, of
But on
Lost.
VHS, that would take up so many shelves.
huge.
I do remember, I
Like-
think the West Wing complete collection from my mum was about 1 meter long.
Fucking hell.
Like it's a shelf. It's a shelf's worth of
Yeah,
video.
it's a full shelf of video.
And yes, they did make it so that it lined up.
Good.
Or when she got when the last series aired, then she got the full set and it all matched up. I had I stole, sorry, friend who lent it to me, seasons 1 to 4 of 30 Rock off my friend. Or rather, she lent it to me and I never gave it back. And now it's been over 10 years, so I don't think I can.
No, I don't think. I
I
think
mean,
it's
you
weird.
can, but it'd be
It's
very
Yeah,
weird.
we're not
weird.
in touch anymore. And I'm pretty
That'd be-
sure I told my parents to put it in the charity shop bin. So
That'd be very strange if someone turned up on my doorstep and was like, "I borrowed this from you over 10 years ago."
it's like I'm
You're
just
like,
very aware of it. Like I
keep
totally
it.
forgot about it up until the point that I lost touch with them, and then I was like, "Oh shit, I've still got their 30 Rock DVDs. I should give those back."
I think
But now I can't.
Yeah, I think-
like...
if someone showed up to me like, "Yeah, I'm giving you this back. I borrowed it like 10 years ago," I'd probably think, "Wow, they've died and gone to hell, and they're trying to make amends."
Isn't that the premise
To
of
be-
like
to be a
my
good
name?
person.
Isn't that the premise of My Name Is Earl?
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
I would. No, I don't think My Name Is Earl dies.
No, but he's in. Isn't he doing a 12-step program, and then he's got to go and apologize
he-
to every single person he's wronged, and he's wronged a lot of people.
Yeah, it's because he believes in karma, because he won the lottery and then it got taken off of him, and then he did something good and then he won the lottery. I think.
Cool. I think
I've
you
not
you
seen it.
out
I
of the
didn't have
three of us,
box
you've
set.
watched the most My Name Is Earl.
My Name Is Earl. So we know we had that like everyone had the channel E4 show that you watched.
Mm.
Some
Yeah.
people it was Friends. Some people it was some other show.
How I Met Your Mother.
I watched My Name Is Earl.
Fair.
That was.
I
mine.
remember it being on, but I remember never watching it.
It's okay from what I remember.
Yeah, I'd always catch like the end of it before something I wanted to watch was on.
Yeah. I think that's
Or
how I
like
got
you forget
into
to turn the channel over and then it starts and you're like, "Oh, I'll find
it.
something
Yeah, I
else."
might as well.
Yeah.
But we've all seen Bug's Life and not Ants.
Yeah.
Ants. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I remember watching it as a slightly older child way more, and then I did really like it, and I was like, "Yeah, I think this
pretty
is
fun.
better than Ants," but I'm not sure. And then like my controversial hot take as a young tween was
Ants is
that
better.
Ants was better.
Wow.
One of them kids. I don't actually know if I've properly seen Ants before.
I don't remember. I mean, I can make a guess about what is in it,
Is it
but
A
Ants?
sexual
Sorry.
abuser. He voices the main ant. Speaking of which, one voices a grasshopper in this one.
yeah, I was going to say, shall we address the Kevin Spacey in the room?
no
we
one
don't
should
have
ever
to.
address. Actually, no.
No.
The Kevin Spacey in the room should be immediately addressed.
Yeah. Please remove him from the premises.
At least he's the bad guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at least he's the bad guy. He plays the part in this
A
very
evil
well.
grasshopper. Yeah,
Yeah.
I could see why the ants made sure the kids stayed away from him.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah, again,
Um,
flashbacks.
So ants at this place, in this ant colony, have to provide grasshoppers with food every year. Otherwise, otherwise grasshoppers kill them.
Yeah.
Well, they can't kill them.
'Cause
Well,
it's-
at
it's
pain
something-
of bad thing happening that they don't know what
Yeah.
is.
It's I can't remember the name of the scheme, but they're basically being like, "Give us food and we'll protect
It's
you from
extortion.
everyone else."
It's a racket.
Yeah.
It's racketeering.
That, yeah.
But also, like, no, it's not will protect you from everything else. This is the natural flow of things. Because at the beginning
Yeah.
they say like
The bugs, the ants
the
find the ground grows the food. The ants find the food. The grasshoppers eat the food.
and then they're like, if it goes wrong, it's the grasshoppers eat the ants, and then the birds eat the grasshoppers.
Hmm.
That's like the way it tells you the natural order of things, which is always bad when anyone ever says that.
It's almost like they're trying to get away with the fact that they're a bunch of cunts.
Apart from that one of them isn't too bad.
Yeah,
The
he's funny.
the assistant one, he's pretty good. He's just an idiot.
He's just flaky.
Yeah.
Literally. Do you know one thing I was thinking about this movie when I was watching it?
Yeah.
Is that I'm glad it was made in like 1998, because if this was made today, they would look fucking disgusting. Because they would be like a bit too realistic.
Slightly too realistic. Yeah, they would.
Yeah,
Or
be a bit weird.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad that they're just kind of smooth, bluey purple things.
mhm.
And
Yeah,
not,
ants
you
aren't
know-
that colour.
No.
And it's kind of weird. It's like boy ants are blue, girl ants, or worker ants are blue, and girl ants are purple.
Yeah, they're a bit more purple.
That's how
And
ants
then as they
work.
get older, they get a bit more white, I think.
Yep,
They get paler.
that's how ants work.
But I mean, surely some ants are blue though.
Are they?
Like there's got to be
Maybe.
a variety of ant that's blue.
Probably, but I don't think they knew that going into it.
Maybe it was just for the...
I think
Yeah,
in England,
characterisation.
don't we have like there's an ant called the blue ant? I think.
don't know. Not as accurate as ants, where they're just a dark colour.
Spoilers, it's not that blue.
No, they're not that shit. They're not bright blue.
Yeah, maybe they saw that in ants they were just that murky brown colour and were like, let's make ours look nice.
Yeah.
Well, isn't this one of those cases where Bugs Life was coming out and then Ants came out as like a copycat rival?
Well,
film?
But it came out like a month or so before.
Yeah.
so this. Either of you know the story of Ants and A Bug's Life?
I think
About
wasn't it
as well
one of
as
the
I remembered the
guys-
plot of
Fucking
A Bug's
it's
Life before I saw
wild.
it.
I think the guy who worked on Ants used to work for Disney or Pixar or something.
So he.
Maybe he stole the idea from that
I-
lunch where Pixar made every movie in half an hour.
So no, I've looked this up. I looked up like the thing because I thought it was going to be one of those like simultaneous film releases thing that happens.
Yeah,
No,
Like
it's way
Nemo and Shark's Tale.
way more direct than that.
Hmm.
So he used to. So the guy that founded DreamWorks, like not like a. Oh, he worked and then he moved over to DreamWorks. One of the main people at DreamWorks used to be one of the main people at Pixar, where they were talking about this film, like Ants. No, not Ants. A Bug's Life. Pixar say that they were talking about this A Bug's Life before Toy Story, whilst the DreamWorks guy, was still there, and that's where he heard it. And then he got into an argument with the CEO, left for creating, so kind of founding and building DreamWorks from the ground up as a counter to Disney. It was like an anti-Disney animation studio. And then, so Bug's Life was being made, and it was really well known in the animation studio because Toy Story had just come out, it was huge. And then DreamWorks suddenly starting producing ants. So
Why did they leave like a donut on the floor?
yeah,
Hmm.
so Steve Jobs got involved because Steve Jobs is like one of the main like founders of one of like the really important people at Pixar who sort of stopped it from going bankrupt. It's fucked because so the DreamWorks guy says he didn't copy it. He'd never even heard of like the Bug's Life story. Steve Jobs calls him a fucking liar.
Of
like-
course.
That's always like the case. I was like, Bug's Life, never heard of it.
That was it.
Or that silly little German caterpillar they've got in it.
And that was it. But yeah, it was a mess. It was a absolute fucking mess. And both companies, like people at Pixar, refused to even admit that ants existed. And the guy at the guy that working at DreamWorks now, he was like, "See how evil Disney is for not even recognizing that this film exists. It's fucking insane." It was a PR just fight. And it was great, but it did end up with Steve Jobs saying, very ironically, very publicly saying, the bad guys don't win when A Bug's Life made a lot of money and Ants didn't.
Yeah, Bugs Life did like I mean,
Yeah.
Bugs Life would have had all the recognition from Toy Story,
Well,
so
I think part of the problem was the marketing, because Bugs Life was marketed as a kids film, Ants was marketed as like a teenager film.
yeah.
But because that's also Bugs Life was meant to come out after, like a year later, because Prince of Egypt was meant to come out first and be DreamWorks' first big film. I think they moved Prince of Egypt forward so they could release Ants at the same time as A Bug's Life, which was something else the guy at DreamWorks had promised he wouldn't do.
Hmm.
Which is so funny. It's so petty. I fucking love that. But yeah, hearing Steve Jobs say the bad guys don't win is amazing. At which point, I think the DreamWorks guy responded with, "Steve, you taught me everything I know about business." Love the pettiness of the fights. I love it when industry professionals get real angry at each other.
Yeah.
Because you remember how shitty they are. Love the drama behind this film. These two films. But yes,
The grasshoppers are quite scary.
they're
That mental
terrifying.
one is really scary. I remember finding that scary as a kid.
Yeah.
A lot of this film's
There's
scary.
when he gets hold of Dot and he's like, yeah, he's a genuinely quite a frightening. It's like a rabid dog.
Yeah, I mean, that was it. Why is he like that?
Yeah, I mean, well, if you watched in the credits, he's just acting.
Yeah.
So...
That's true. One of the ants, brave little main character ant I can't remember the name of, Flick, stands up to, well, kind of accidentally loses all of their food.
Well, he's an inventor, isn't he? He's
Yeah.
always trying out new ways of doing things.
They drop that pretty quick. They drop that
Yeah.
for like the majority of the film.
Well, I mean, he then designs and invents a bird.
True, but for like the majority of the film, he doesn't do anything. Yeah, so he accidentally gets rid of all their food
Yeah.
that they've been saving up to try and stop the grasshoppers from killing them.
Because they have to, obviously, the grasshoppers eat the food, take their food, but they also have to collect enough food for themselves.
Yeah,
So they're having to work twice the amount a normal ant colony would and struggle. So it's always a mad dash. And then to have all their food gone,
yeah.
they know that the mob boss grasshopper is going to be mated.
And go for them. And because he's using propaganda against the ants to keep them separated and individualized, they can't group together.
No, and it's like, you have to stay on this island because there are bigger, nastier bugs out there who will try and eat you if you do.
Namely, the bird.
Yeah.
I hate the bird is terrifying.
Yeah.
But he's like, well, how about if we can't stand up to him, how about we go and get some of these big nasty bugs
Yeah.
and they can stand up for us?
Exactly. It's the plot of Seven Samurai / Magnificent Seven,
Slash
but with bugs.
ants. So he goes out. He goes out after them to find these bugs. He kind of has a crush on the princess, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely does. I
She's
think
worried
I
about
did as a
becoming
kid
queen.
too.
I wanted to be the princess because I wanted to be every princess.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, this
Hence
was your
my
princess
purple-
phase, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so hence my purple outfit that I wore to my birthday party that was still trousers and not a dress because ants don't wear dresses, obviously.
It's okay.
Oh, it's
For the
fine. I've
Halloween
got
party
over it.
This year, you can come as an ant. It's fine.
Okay.
We're gonna, at some point, we're gonna hold a bugs party for you and just help you get over that.
If you guys turn up in fucking princess dresses, I will be
No,
so
it's-
mad.
We missed the opportunity. Isn't that what you throw before someone gets married?
I didn't realize how much this affected you. No.
You know what? Me neither.
No.
Yeah, I could dress up in I could get a nice purple outfit, like a purple jumpsuit and a little leafy crown, and I could dip dye one of my rats green.
Yeah, I do like the little aphid pet that the queen
Yeah,
has.
Aphie.
Aphie.
But yeah, so he wants to help the princess, and the princess is also having this sort of crisis of confidence where her mum is clearly old and needs to retire, step down, die, whatever, and she's going to be the queen.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
she
so
needs
she's
to
sort of
learn.
training.
So this is sort of her first sort of responsibility.
It's a hell of a
As a-
responsibility.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, but so is managing a colony.
Exactly. You've got to help them when a leaf falls in the path, and they have to find a new way around.
Yeah, I feel like this is a step up from that.
Yeah.
I feel like warding off an army of grasshoppers is kind of a step. Maybe the mother
Yeah,
should have
kind of
been
a
a bit more involved. Now I'm thinking back.
Yeah, probably is quite difficult. I can see why they do decide to just send Flick away.
Yeah, get rid of
Um,
Flick.
Yeah, because they're like, he fucked up. We can do better without him. He's offering to go and find help, so we'll just accept that because he'll just leave and probably die.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because she says at some point he wasn't meant to come back.
Yeah, except little Dot, which is her little. When I was a kid, I always thought Dot was the princess's daughter. But
I
it's
thought that
her
too.
Sister, yeah.
Yeah.
But Dot believes in Flick, and Flick has that whole speech about pretend this rock is a seed, and she's like, but it's a rock. And that comes back later.
Yeah.
Yeah, her arc is she gets to understand metaphors.
Yeah. And her wings start to work.
Yeah, when she learns to fly.
Yeah,
Which I guess is a big
that
deal.
Too, yes,
Is that a thing?
What?
Like that Queen ants, girl ants have wings and boy ants don't, or is
I
that?
have no. I didn't
don't
do
know
that
if it
kind
is,
of.
Because I know
research.
that some ants, like you have flying ants at certain times of the year.
Yeah, you get that day when there's fuckloads of them, and you're like, oh shit,
Yeah,
flying
and
ant day.
you have flying ant day. Shortly after Maybug Day,
Yeah,
which is equally traumatic.
So there's a period.
I
in
feel like
England-
there's probably people in America and Australia laughing now, being like, those aren't real. Those are not scary bugs."
No,
I think flying ant day is coming up, to be honest, because that's like
Yeah.
there,
I haven't
probably
seen any
soon.
flying ants yet.
there is
No.
like 2 months in England where there are just fucking bugs everywhere, suddenly,
so
and then
many.
they disappear.
Like whenever I leave where I live at the minute, there's just a big bush just outside, and I can hear buzzing coming from inside it, and I'm like,
Sorry.
I'm just gonna stay clear of
Fucking
that.
Just all of a sudden, and then gone. They're gone. You don't see them for the
Yeah.
rest of the year.
I only saw
Agree.
one Maybug this year,
Nice.
and it was dying,
Well,
so it wasn't scary. So I was just, I have been like, had them
accosted.
just bombing at me before. Like back when I lived down in Kent and I was taking my parents' dog for a walk. One time I think I wore a yellow top,
Oh, that's always a mistake.
and they're so loud. It's
Yeah.
like someone's coming at you with a hairdryer.
It's genuinely quite like panic-inducing if you're not.
Yeah,
Prepared
no.
for
I
it.
was freaking out because there were so many of them and I felt swarmed.
Yeah, completely harmless.
And
like.
it's like they are harmless, but they don't feel harmless.
They just try and
'cause
get
they're
in
so
your
big.
hair.
Fuck out! I
Yeah.
just googled them because how have I never seen these things?
They're like a countryside thing. Like
I mean, they
They're
have them on
really
the-
cool.
they
I
like
can understand why like a bunch of them coming at you fast would be scary though.
they like
Like,
Yeah, have
they're
you seen
pretty
like
big
them on
beetles.
scale?
Yeah.
because they live underground. They like have children and then just exist underground for almost the entire year. Appear for like a month, reproduce and do it again, and then they die off.
They look
Yeah.
really cute. They've got funky antennae.
But they all come out at the same time, so you have
Yeah.
like thousands of them in a field, and then they'll
They're about the size of a knuckle, so like the top bit of your finger.
Yeah.
So about an inch or just under an inch.
but they exist in like.
And we're not
huge
used to
groups.
bugs that big in the UK. Like most bugs
No.
are not that big, apart from like I guess some moths.
And in that big of a group,
They're
it's
called
weird.
cockchafers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're called cockchafers if anyone wants to look them up. They're
Yeah.
not. The Maybug is because in England they come out in May.
Or in June, some people call them June bugs.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I assumed they were different,
No, I think they're the same.
but
Unsurprisingly, we're talking about bugs.
Yeah.
How quickly we got distracted by
June
bugs.
beetle.
Yeah, like June bugs and stuff.
I mean, people know the plot of Bugs Life. The ants
Yeah.
unionize and fuck up the grasshoppers with a big fake bird.
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, we can talk about the amazing circus performers.
The circus performers,
they are-
including Dennis Leary, Diego from Ice Age.
That is a joke. Literally, no one's going to get.
Exactly. That's actually called Francis.
Good Francis. So they're at the best
Tuck
part
and
of the
Roll
film.
are great too.
They're the
like,
important, yeah.
The little. What do you guys call them? Because I would call them woodlouse.
Yeah, they're woodlouse.
Yeah.
Or I mean,
Yeah.
like
woodlice plural.
Yeah.
Well, I've heard people call them monkey
Roly-polies?
roly-polies.
Roly polies. Cheesy bugs. That's a weird
What?
one.
Why
Yeah.
are they-
Lauren calls them cheesy bugs, and I'm like,
Shouldn't.
why?
She
Do
shouldn't.
they smell of cheese?
I don't
Has she
think so.
smelled
I've
them?
never, I've never smelt one. Maybe it's because the characters in this movie are cheesy. I don't know.
Mm.
I remember correcting my grandmother when she called them roly polies, and I was like, "No, Granny, they're woodlice." And she was like, "Yeah, sure."
Sure,
Okay.
things don't have different names. Who cares? But yeah, there's a flea called P.T. Flea who P.T. Barnum. He was a
Yeah.
piece of shit.
It was a piece of shit.
And so is this flea, to be fair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this flea also kind of sucks.
This is a more
He-
accurate representation of P.T. Barnum than
Yeah, exactly.
The
The
Greatest Showman.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not
Abusive
difficult,
and
though.
controlling.
Yeah.
Yeah, and burns lots of animals.
To be fair, quite willing to set himself on fire too, which
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, if
fair.
it
He
makes him
dishes.
money.
He can take what he dishes out.
Only if it makes him money, though.
yeah. Because at first that happens and he fires all the bugs, and so they're in a dive bar, which is just a tin can under a caravan. And that's where Flick finds them. And
There's a particularly bleak reference that is definitely for adults.
is it
and
the
there's a bug-
slug eating the salt thing?
No, did you not see the bug that's got
Oh,
a sign that says "Kids pulled my wings off"?
Yep.
yeah.
And it's like a beggar sat on the floor.
The
Yeah,
only
there were a lot
reference
of
to
jokes
people.
this time round that I was like, oh, I never got that before. Like the
Yeah.
mosquito ordering a Bloody Mary.
Yep.
Right.
O positive.
Yeah.
Which implies so much about that bar tells us so much about the world of A Bug's Life.
Yeah.
For example, like that is the only reference to humans in this entire film
Mhm.
is that they kill. So I don't know where this bar is. Number 2, they order blood by the type, which means
Yeah.
that they have to go and collect it from assumedly humans. I don't know
Yeah,
how.
inside that caravan, they've just got a bunch of humans hanging
Right.
up, like it,
Like,
like
that's
in the
the
Matrix. They've just got them
bleakest way of
incapacitated.
Thinking about it.
Yeah.
But also, does that mean that sometimes when mosquitoes bite you and drink a little bit of blood, they're not drinking it, they're like keeping it in a little bottle and taking it back to their bar? Is that what they're doing?
Keeping it for later.
Is that what they're doing? They're keeping it for drinks?
It's
So they
actually
just have
donating blood
worker
is- yeah.
mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Donating blood is actually a big scam, and it's
This
just a
is.
bunch of mosquitoes in a doctor's outfit.
Yeah.
They've teamed up with vampires to
Exactly.
yeah. So
But-
mosquitoes actually, according to science, because today, children, we are doing bugs
Life.
and yeah.
Oh, vaguely what we
Mosquitoes
remember about
there is
bugs.
research to suggest that mosquitoes are attracted to certain blood types more than others, which says they might be able to differentiate between them. So it's not like, I mean, obviously it is outside of the realms of possibility that they are serving different blood types at a bug bar, but it's not
Oh, no, like
wrong in that respect.
in world,
So-
it makes sense. My thinking is, how are they getting the blood in the first place?
I guess just they're sucking it up and regurgitating it.
Which the
Pretty
idea
gross,
that
but actually a lot of bugs and birds and animals do that.
they
so
are gross. Also, one thing in this film, the food doesn't look good, which is great, which is rare for an animated film. Normally,
Exactly,
food
'cause
looks
it's
great.
a poo-poo platter.
Yeah. But even like the drinks,
I-
it's
I-
meant to look good.
well, I think also a lot of the time the food just looks very smooth.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like food.
True. Why was that
Um,
Sug eating salt?
He ordered a margarita hold the salt,
Yeah, he didn't want salt in it. They accidentally put salt in
Oh,
it.
they killed
and
him.
he's like, "I said no salt," as he's like foaming at the
Well,
mouth.
they
Yeah.
killed him.
Oh, there's also I like the bit like when it first turns to night and there's the two flies and they're like, "Don't go towards the light." And he's like, "Ah!" Just gets zapped by one of them bug things.
Yeah. I also one of my favourite lines was "turn your butt off,"
Yeah.
Yeah.
which was said to one of the
So
fireflies, and that tickled me.
the people, the circus performers. Let's go through them because they are great.
Yes.
They are all great characters. If a few of them are a little bland. So we have the caterpillar,
Yeah.
Yes,
The-
Heimlich.
German caterpillar, the best character in
Definitely
the
the most quoted character of "I'm going to be a beautiful
film.
butterfly."
Beautiful butterfly.
Exactly.
Great, best character in the film, hands down. We can all agree.
Yes.
Then we have the spider. Anyone remember her
Yeah,
name?
Black Widow.
Yeah. The Black Widow.
Yeah, I can't remember her name.
Pretty bland.
She's there.
Yeah.
She's useful because she makes silk and that can make webs and hold things together.
She was explaining that her husband kept dying and she was an actual widow, implying that she killed them.
Well, yeah, don't spiders sometimes do that?
I mean, that's
Yeah,
why they're
so
called
do-
widows. That's like,
So do praying mantis, which leads to the next character.
yep,
The psychic praying mantis called Manny,
yep.
and his partner, I guess, she was like a moth/butterfly.
She's a butterfly.
Francis is the ladybug.
Is constantly angry.
Yeah, frequently misgendered,
Yeah,
Yeah,
always angry, but then has a little heart of gold
Yeah.
and adopts the little ladybugs to make a sort of
Obviously.
scout troop.
great, perfect. The best leader because they are angry and fight. And great.
exactly.
They inspire anger in small children, which is
It's
brilliant.
great. Exactly what a film aimed at kids should do.
Praying
Exactly.
mantis is a stereotype.
Yep. Absolutely. I mean, every character in this is a stereotype.
Well,
yeah, like the
Caricature,
Yeah.
I
the
guess.
stick,
If you're being
Not
generous.
in a good way. It's all
the
terrible.
stick bug being a stick
Yep.
the whole time.
That's a solid joke that I feel like the film told us was funny before they did anything about it.
Yeah,
lo-
the best
the
bit of
way
that
it's
is towards the
introduced.
end,
Yeah.
like when they're flying away with him, and the ladybug comes up with just a normal stick.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's like, where have you gone? He's like, I'm over here. I'm the only stick with eyeballs.
And there's that one joke where it's like he slaps him and then he goes straight and falls over and it's like, slapstick. And that was bad.
Yeah, that's yeah.
But the way they introduce him was really strange because they introduce him with him being like, the only reason you're not using me properly is because I'm a prop. I'm just a stick. And PT Bug is like, of course you're a stick. That's funny. That's a funny joke. It's like, okay, the film's just gonna make him a prop for the rest of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's told us it's funny, so it's gonna
Exactly.
be funny. Oh,
What's the
man.
name of the beetle? I can't remember.
I
Called like Dim or something.
yeah.
But apparently, like, that was one of them beetles where they kind of made up the design of him, and then later in life found a real version
cool.
of that.
They
Kind of
ice
like what
aged
happened
it.
with Scrap, but this
Yeah.
happened first.
They ice aged it.
Yeah.
Far less impressive.
Is that the sort of stag beetle one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, he's a rhinoceros beetle.
yeah,
Was Ice
yeah.
Age
DreamWorks was like made Scrat, and then they discovered Scrat was
Oh,
real
yeah.
later.
Does
Yeah,
DreamWorks
this
have the ability
happened
to tell the
for Bugs
future?
Life.
Does DreamWorks as a company have the ability to tell the future?
Maybe.
Because they've done it twice.
Maybe they do. I mean, Pixar did this one. Though.
No. Oh yeah, this was Pixar. Fuck.
Yeah.
My brain.
You're thinking of
Fuck.
Ants.
I'm thinking of Ant. I am thinking of
It
Ant.
turns out you accidentally watched
They're
Ants,
the same fucking
and it's just the same
film.
fucking movie.
Do you reckon we could get away with that? Like, not know. when
We'll
we
just
watched
upload
Ants?
this episode again, but I'll replace the beginning. I'll just replace the title.
Yeah.
And we'll just put Ants.
Oh man.
Tuck and Roll the Woodlouse.
Yep. Great little comedic. So yeah, he gets them. They come back. They pretend to be warriors.
Yeah, because they're fighting some flies who are like picking on Francis.
Yeah. Dung beetles, dung flies. And yeah, they pretend to be great warriors. So he brings them back. The ant brings them back to the colony. He's like, they're great warriors. Then he finds out that
And
they are in fact circus performers.
I do like. I love the bit where the kids have made that mural to show them fighting them, and they're like, "We drew one of you dying because the teacher said it'd be more dramatic," and it's just Heimlich in half.
He's pale.
It's just,
That's great.
it's such a great like kids drawing of a massacre.
And the play they do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
die,
No pressure.
die. Yeah.
They're
It's
like, and yeah, they're proper acting and collapsing on their death scenes. It's
Yeah.
great fun.
Yeah. This...
Sorry, I just have to turn my light on.
Okay.
No, she's going to attract the moths.
I'm back.
Cool.
Sorry, it was dark.
Yeah. So they run away. The circus try to run away. They bring him back. There's the scene in the crevasse. With
Yeah,
the kid.
the bird starts chasing them.
The bird is the scariest thing, which I know is meant to be, but it's so fucking scary.
You really do see how vulnerable they are, and it sort of puts them. You can sort of forget that they're bugs. I mean, not actually forget they're bugs, but you can forget about their size
The bug.
quite easily until you see like how massive a bird is in comparison to them.
And look at the
Exactly.
And
small
then you're
bird.
like, oh shit, they don't stand a chance.
That's a small bird. That's a tiny bird. But yeah, it's fucking huge. And what's really creepy about the bird is it's not overtly designed to be scary.
No,
No.
it's not as evil and aggressive looking as the Dujima the scary grasshopper, the like one that's being all animalistic.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Or-
It's just
It
an
just
orange
looks like a
bird.
bird,
Yeah.
and it's just like, oh, is that a bug? Oh, peck, peck,
It's
peck.
just-
But the pecks are like, whum, and when it lands, it's like thump, and it's so like,
Yeah.
it just really emphasizes how big this animal is.
It's just
And it's just animalistic to them as well, because they can talk to different kinds of bugs, but they can't talk to birds.
Well, of course, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
weirdly
Exactly.
enough, this film is one of the few films we've seen so far where the talking animals have rules for what they can
Yeah.
talk to.
Rules, accents, and languages.
Yeah.
Because don't aren't the little bugs Spanish?
Or Czech or something. I'm not too sure.
But yeah, the bird is like completely emotionally disconnected animal, and it's really scary.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
near the end with like Hopper. Not that I care about Hopper dying.
Yeah, when it's just feeding him to its babies.
It's
you're like,
so upsetting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so scary and weird. And it's like, yeah, it's that dark era of Disney and kids films and DreamWorks. Like when there were those like really dark bits in kids
Yeah,
films.
like bits in this were genuinely scary, and I do remember finding them scary as a kid as well.
Yeah.
Like the rain too, when it's the bit I found scariest actually is so whizzing through a little bit of the plot. They make a fake bird, and it's like made of leaves and stuff, and then they find out they're circus performers, so they leave, and then they have to come back and they use the bird. But the bit where P.T. Flea sets the bird on fire and they're all inside it,
Terrifying.
Yeah.
and
that
like
was
it's starting to
terrifying.
fill with smoke, and they're trying to get out. That was so scary.
They're
to me as a
little
kid.
kids. They're
Yeah.
little babies.
Yeah.
They
Exactly.
shouldn't be around fire.
They're the blueberries. They shouldn't.
All the kids when the grasshoppers get there at the end and they run to hide in their clubhouse and like one of the grasshoppers is
that bit,
approaching.
that bit actually really freaked me out.
Genuinely
And I
tense.
remembered, like, I had an emotional flashback while watching that, and I was immediately like a terrified 6-year-old again, like, oh my god, the grasshopper's gonna eat the eat the babies,
Right?
and he looks straight at them, or straight at the camera basically, because you're looking at it through like the slit in the stalk.
Yeah.
And he's like, you think they've been spotted, and he walks towards and he's like, oh, look at that, and he finds one of their little capes and puts it on like a hat.
Yeah,
And-
because they
oh,
made little
God.
ladybird capes because Francis rescued them.
Terrifying.
Oh my goodness, yeah, awful. But good film, but awful, like, awful, scary scene. Stuck with me, really stuck with me
Genuinely terrifying.
emotionally.
Those hits of like emotional memory watching films like this is really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice when they actually happen, isn't it?
Yeah,
Unlike last week's episode.
every now and then.
Yeah, I did not have an emotional connection to anything in Oliver and Company.
No.
Well,
But yeah, for this one, I did, and it really hit me as like I remember being scared of this as a kid, and actually I was still pretty scared as an adult. I wasn't. I thought, oh shit, they do find them, because obviously they reveal themselves and there's a chase and everything, and I didn't remember when that happens. I just remember being scared that they were getting discovered.
yeah, but they don't. It's so creepy. The grasshoppers are genuinely terrifying.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
Like, the scene where it is in the grasshopper's sort of like home base inside a sombrero in Mexico, I guess.
Yeah,
Where it's got mosquitoes there as well.
yeah.
When Hopper starts explaining how one ant isn't a
one
problem,
ant
but if
isn't
they
a
all
problem,
team
yeah.
up against them, and he just like smacks that. It looks like one of them like water bottles that you'd give to rabbits or something.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah, it's a drop feeder or like an
Yeah.
oil bottle
yeah.
with a
and
little cap on it.
Yeah, he just kicks the cap off, and the entire thing just floods out and fills
Yeah.
it all.
Genuinely
And it's like, yeah,
terrifying.
yeah.
as a
It's
villain.
like they understand that if the ants all realized they could work together, they could team up against them and win.
And
But
that's
why they
he-
have to keep them in line with terror.
Yeah, and the difference in scary that the grasshoppers are in comparison to like the bird,
Yeah.
is really well done and way better done than a lot of like modern horror movies do.
Yeah.
Like the
Like,
way
is it-
different things are scary.
Yeah, there's the horror where there's a chance.
Yeah,
Hmm.
like the
And the horror where there's no chance. They're never gonna.
You can't
They can beat a
reason.
grasshopper. They can't beat a bird.
you can't reason with
Yeah.
the bird either. Like the grasshoppers are deliberately malicious, and that
Yeah,
makes
the
them
bird
scary.
is just a force of nature.
The bird is just
Yeah.
there doing its thing.
And like,
Yeah.
not even the grasshoppers.
No, yeah,
Even the grasshoppers are scared of the bird.
Yeah.
So it's like having you have like this horror, the horror, and then you have the thing that the horror's scared of.
it's really good. And then the rain, where the whole time they're talking about the rain and how bad it is, and you don't really care.
Yeah.
Until it happens,
And
and
it's
then
like,
it's like, oh,
"Oh,
shit.
shit." The stakes in this film are really good and like really well done, which is rare for the films that we talk about in general,
Yeah.
be them kids film or not. It's rare that the stakes are good and make sense throughout the film.
Yeah, and I found as well, this film, it flew by.
Yeah.
Like,
100%. This is really enjoyable to watch.
yeah. Like, it didn't, like, some films lately have just kind of dragged, and you're like, how is this? How am I only half an hour into this? But this one, I looked and I was like, oh, damn, I've only got half an hour
Yeah,
left.
done.
I've been watching this for an hour, and I didn't even realise.
Yeah, it's great.
I disagree slightly with that.
How
I
dare
found it for. I know, I'm scared. I'm scared to even to say, but I found it did drag a bit. The first half an hour went by in a flash, but after that, it dragged for me. And I didn't hate this film. Don't get me wrong. Like, I still enjoyed watching it, but it didn't. Apart from the bits that sort of scared me, I wasn't as invested. I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would.
That's fair. I feel
But maybe I'm just wrong.
no. I feel like the shenanigans bit, because every film, every kids film we've ever seen has a shenanigans middle where
Yeah.
they do a thing. There's the inciting incident. There's the shenanigans middle ground, and then there's the ending.
Yeah.
The shenanigans kind of dragged, and it was kind of like, okay, they're just
What it really reminded me of
doing a lot.
was Chicken Run.
Yeah,
And that whole, but Chicken Run did that middle section so much better.
yeah, it did the shenanigans right.
This was so much. I mean, it's obviously, don't get me wrong, I understand that this is a kids' film and for children, but it was so sort of simple in that respect of like, right, we're going to build a bird, we're building a bird,
Yeah.
and then montage of them building a bird.
Yeah,
There was no like R&D like you get in Chicken Run, where they're
Yeah.
learning how to escape and they're learning what to do and they're making.
I did like when they're making the bird and how they get the basic design is they cut it out on a leaf and then hold the
That's
leaf high
cool.
up in the air, so it like
Yeah.
the
makes the
individual montages bits were really
Yeah.
good and clever. I think it's probably because they put too much time into like the opening, because introducing him and then introducing the ants and then introducing
yeah.
all of the circus people and who they are, then introducing like Hopper properly as a villain. There's a lot to introduce, so I kind of get
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
the ending feels kind of rushed in a slow way. But then,
It was, yeah, it just didn't have all that.
and then
It wasn't as fantastic as. All I'm saying is it wasn't as good as Chicken Run.
I mean,
no.
if you want, you can combine the two because Ant Island looks a little bit like the island they retire to at the end of
How-
Chicken Run, and then
how
that's got
horrifying.
horrible implications.
How horrifying for the ants in
Yeah.
Oh,
Bugs
yeah.
Life.
Those
But-
chickens are not going to quit.
No.
No.
Because even after they build the bird, it kind of loses all tension again for a bit because they go back to shenanigans.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, they've found out that they're circus animals and they just have to leave, and then the ants are like, oh no, we have to get food. We knew Flick was an idiot.
It was very similar to Valiant in that respect, where it was like the circus performers are leaving, oh no, and then they're back within
Almost immediately, they're back.
almost immediately, the same way as that pigeon
Yeah.
that runs away and then comes back, and it's like, I didn't even really have a chance to be upset that they were gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's pretty quick that Dot manages to go and convince them to come back by giving Flick a rock and being like,
Yeah.
pretend it's a seed, okay?
Yeah. It's
Yeah, because
not-
Flick goes with them. He's going to run away and join the circus.
Yeah, because they've kicked him out for good this time.
And the wrestling ants are like, we'll have to just get it quickly and make it quick.
They don't manage to because all the food that they piled up before, which was a lot of food,
Yeah.
just all went into the bit of water left and the dried up, like.
And they also don't
riverbed.
have time. Like, they don't have time to rebuild it.
No.
They
And especially
also spent loads
considering-
of time building this bird,
Yeah.
Yeah,
so they didn't have any
which-
food. They didn't have time to get enough food.
And they also kind of cut down the amount of time they had because the deal was it's when the last leaf falls, but they use a lot of the leaves to build the bird with.
Hmm.
So they end up kind of speeding up the grasshoppers coming.
Yeah. I don't
I
think
mean,
the
where are the grasshoppers? Are they like watching?
I don't think the grasshoppers are watching. I think it's just a vague threatening time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole bit is, and all of that is just kind of rushed through.
Yeah.
And then the back, and you have the heroic savior and Barty Bar and the circus people being circus people to save the queen, and
It feels like they wanted to make a longer movie and then got told they couldn't.
Yeah.
Maybe.
like they had to rush the ending.
It's because it's 1 hour 35, so it's
Yeah, it's
feels like a.
and I can understand as well. Maybe it was a longer plot initially, and then when it came to actually doing the animation, they were like, "We are not funding more than."
Or it
no.
got cut down.
Absolutely have to.
Cut down in the edit, and it felt like it dragged.
Yeah.
So instead of
Like
Yeah, or maybe they went full Black Cauldron and actually animated loads and loads and loads, and then cut it out afterwards.
there's about half an hour of horrific grasshopper torturing ants.
this,
Yeah.
they had to change all the audio near the end of the film.
Hmm.
Oh man, if only they cut more out of Black Cauldron.
Hey, shut up! That film's amazing.
I have to
Some might even say perfect.
every time that someone is you, but every time you bring it up, I have to drive by it. I have to. I just have
Yeah,
to.
we've got to
Guys,
come back to that.
Part of the rules.
Yeah.
Part of the
I'll make you watch
part
it
of
again next year.
The law.
I think you've forgotten how good it is.
I'm sure I haven't. So out of 10, because the nostalgia is strong with this one.
And I've enjoyed talking about it. I actually really enjoyed just on the IMDb page flicking through the photos of it. I have found also that cover that you were talking about, and yeah, that would make me want to watch it. Like, he's such a happy little tubby caterpillar.
Exactly. He's great.
And I love that he comes out of his cocoon at the end.
The exact same.
And he is the exact same, but with two tiny little wings on him.
Yeah, and then the others have to like fly and carry him
They'll
off.
they'll pick him up, and he's like, "Look, I'm flying."
You look like ants. Best line in the film.
Yes, you look like little ants from up here.
You should fly away, but I am flying. You look like ants from up here. Fuck, best line.
Yes.
Best
Yeah.
line.
And then it's like the end. And then before it gets to the bloopers in the credits as well, I like how it's just kind of showing like basic shots of some of the set pieces, but it kind of made me realize how well animated some of the bits were for when this came out. Like the effect through the water droplets was pretty cool.
The
The shadows were something I noticed in this for some reason. I was like, oh, the shadows look pretty good in this.
this film is,
And like just the lighting in general.
the animation still looks good. Like in
Yeah.
comparison to films that come out now, it still looks good.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks fine. Like it's
Yeah.
not distractingly bad. Out of Barbie and the Nutcracker.
And where it's like,
but it's not
yeah.
like outstandingly beautiful either. It's just a bit smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it helps
Which is-
where the
yeah.
characters are a bit like sort of stylized as well. They're not trying to
Yeah.
be really realistic.
There are animated films that come out now that look worse than this.
Yeah. I'd say out of 10 though, I would give this 9 murals of
9.
warriors massacring the grasshoppers.
Yeah, that's
Like I enjoyed this a lot. I had a really good time with it, and like yeah, probably is a lot of nostalgia, but I had fun with it, and I'm glad that we could watch a movie that was enjoyable.
It is nice on the rare occasion we get to actually enjoy the films we watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd give this. Oh
No,
sorry,
you go ahead. No,
Mike.
you go ahead. You're gonna let's do a what's it called? Positive sandwich,
Poo poo platter sandwich.
criticism sandwich. So you
No,
go-
I'm not actually gonna shit all over this film. Like I still think it's fine. Like I didn't hate watching it. I didn't, and I did actually find bits of it quite captivating. I just thought that it was, yeah, just a bit weird at the end. It just didn't quite. It wasn't as good as I hoped it would have been. I think because I had all this nostalgia, I had set the bar quite high for this film.
yeah.
So maybe that's what's let it down, rather than it genuinely. I was disappointed, but maybe that's on me. But I would give this
Never- Don't blame yourself for not like
7 little blueberries playing poker out of
yeah.
out of 10. Like, yeah, it's a good time, and like the message is fine. Like, you know, rise up, anti-capitalism. Give the workers the means of production.
100%. This is a Marxist
Let
film.
the animators unionize.
Yeah.
This is
Um,
Marxism.
So yeah, it was funny, and there's not really any real yikes moments apart from the fact that Kevin Spacey's in it, and you know, it's not their fault.
No, it's not the film's fault. They did cast him.
apparently they
Yeah, no,
wanted,
I didn't mean that's not Kevin Spacey's fault. It absolutely is. I meant that it's the
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not.
Apparently they
the-
wanted Robert De Niro, but he turned it down.
That would have been a really different vibe. Like, I know
It
Kevin
would.
Spacey has a dark vibe, but that would have just been a really jarring, it kind of intense in a
Or-
different way.
It could have been Machete in part of the Machete universe.
That's true. The ants in the Machete verse are in fact these ants. That's a wild theory. and a true one. It's not a theory. It's
Well,
a
it has
fact.
got a Pizza Planet truck in it, so it's in the
course.
Toy Story universe.
It's a fact.
It's in the Pixar universe.
I think I'd give it an 8. 8 utterly terrifying birds that will mangle you and feed you to its children. That film, that ending, that death is like up there with like the Tarzan death,
Yeah.
the Clayton in Tarzan death. Like it's.
I don't remember the death in Tarzan. I don't remember
It's
Tarzan.
okay.
at
We're
all.
doing
It's-
Tarzan because Tarzan is one of the best kids films ever
Yeah.
released.
That's
fucking
the
incredible.
main bit that I remember because my
I
mum
remember
always
thinking
used to point
Tarzan
it
was
out.
stupid.
Tarzan's amazing. How absolutely fucking dare you?
Not the film, as in the
Yeah.
actual
The cat,
bloke.
yeah, sure. I mean,
Yeah.
he's a
the
monkey
bad
boy.
guy ends
like,
up getting
he
like
can't-
hung by a vine, but you see it because lightning like flashes and you see the shadow
Oh.
of him just hanging in the background.
Not just fucking
Oh.
that. He's like tied up in vines in the air, and Tarzan's like, "Mate, I'm getting away from him, climbing through the vines because he's a little ape boy.
Yeah.
Grew up in that. It's his natural environment." And Clayton's like cutting the vines, and Tarzan's like, "Fucking stop! You're gonna hurt yourself." And he ends up cutting one that like ties around his neck, and he just drops. It's
Yeah.
horror. It's a kids' film.
Yeah, he just
That's-
drops and
It's
Yeah.
so bleak.
If you're going to
Yeah.
ask me, like, what film has an actual hanging in it,
Tarzan wouldn't
like
be the
Tarzan
guess.
was not going to be the top of
And
my
you
list.
see the shadow, and it's awful.
Okay, yeah, I'm up for watching Tarzan. It sounds dark.
It is, but then you get like it's got the best soundtrack, and I know that's a big thing to say about a Disney film. Fuck you, Tarzan has the best soundtrack.
I don't know. I don't remember any of the songs
I-
from Tarzan.
Genuinely, like, what's the guy's name that did it?
Phil Collins.
Phil Collins went hard.
Yeah.
Phil Collins went way too hard than Tarzan probably deserved. But
If
like,
the job's worth doing.
One
Yeah.
Family, fucking incredible.
Well, before we accidentally do the entire episode on Tarzan,
very
here,
pro Tarzan.
I've been Dan.
Evan Michael.
Now this is good because I want you to rewatch it and then realize it's terrible and
It's
be
not.
really
I've
sad.
seen it recently. It's still good.
Yeah, but remember Flubber?
No, I've seen it very recently. It's still good.
Okay. And I've been Helena.
Nice. Well, you can find this podcast on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Hilton Pod. That's at HILTM Pod.
Nice.
No, I didn't know what else to say. All right, you can end this episode.
Nice. You can find this podcast wherever you get your podcasts, on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts. Some people still use iTunes, don't at me.
I don't think it's called Apple
And all other
Podcasts
podcast apps.
don't think
Please give us a 5-star
now.
rating and tell your friends about our podcast.
Please, I don't think it's called iTunes. It's Apple Podcast. Do you want me to finish it instead?
I mean, I'll be honest, you're doing a better job than me, so go for it.
Do you want me to say?
I mean,
You can find us
included a bit
online-
about giving us a 5-star review.
You can find us online at HILTM Pod. That's Hilton Pod on Instagram, Twitter,
Fuck it, Google
and
Plus.
TikTok. We have a Patreon as well.
We do
and
have a Patreon.
this week on the Patreon,
yeah, this is
We're
my
gonna
time.
unionize.
we're going to kill some bugs.
No,
Oh,
this time on the Patreon, you're gonna fucking use your money to get Tarzan. We're gonna fucking watch Tarzan. I'm gonna make us watch Tarzan. And this is a realistic goal. I can achieve this goal. Number 1, doesn't involve kidnapping. That's a
First
step
Patreon
up.
goal we've ever done.
don't worry. I'm sure we can get kidnapping into the Tarzan episode.
No,
pretty
we
easily.
will. But like, this is a Patreon that doesn't involve kidnapping children, which is a fucking start.
There's not really any snails or slugs in this, apart from the one snail that eats the salt,
Guys, yeah.
which is good because I've been doing a lot of slug. I've not been killing them because I'm not, a
You've
psychopath.
been giving them
But
margaritas.
I've been yeeting slugs and snails off my balcony every
They're
evening
dying.
once it's rained a little bit.
when you do understand that they are dying when you throw them.
It's only a second-story balcony.
That's still a lot.
Snail's probably going to crack.
We've seen what
But-
happens, how small these bugs are.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I keep, like, every so often after it's rained, I'll go into the kitchen and there'll be just a slug trail on the entrance mat, and I'm like, oh
Yep.
no.
Yeah, they get inside, and
Mm.
they also they eat everything on my balcony.
Anyway, good place to end the Bugs Life.
bugs used to have a life, and then Helena threw them from the balcony.
Yes, the real story. What is the value of a bug's life? Eat my sunflowers and fucking find out, bitch. Oh my god, I'm sweating like a pig.
Glad this is recorded.
Because it pissed it down
Yeah,
this
it's
morning.
so
And it just
muggy.
got really hot, so it was humid. I was
Yeah.
glad I had the day off.
Oh, and you can deal with bird noises in the background and a dog. I'm not closing my window.
I don't blame you.
Not doing it. You
Yeah,
can't
I've
make
got my
me.
window shut because I live next to a busy road with lots and lots of sirens and stuff. So
Oh yeah, we remember early on in the podcast.